can manage that as a group here or continue.
One of the questions, this is council's question, one of the questions was taxpayer money. If we was to appropriate this out of Riverboat, which would not be taxpayer money,
It's been presented as an option, you know, as far as the different ways of the funding of that, and it's been, you know, one of the cumulative building fund has been, you know, looked at, Riverboat has been looked at, you know, as an avenue, you know, as far as talking around, you know, as far as general, just, you know, comments and trying to feel out where they're, you know, right now, myself, I've got a feeling that Riverboat funds is probably the most palatable mechanism right now as far as us looking to go ahead work with that. And
Riverboat would be the most palatable, but what Harrison County started with is with the road situation. To me, it'd be better to take it out of the Coon Cap than to have them to find out that we used the Riverboat money for these technology. When we send a report down there about how did you spend the Riverboat money, I would prefer that it would be to roads and bypass and so forth. That's just my idea.
Okay.
Sarah?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, if you send a report down saying that you're buying for, as long as you're improving your county and you're improving,
Yeah, but the roads.
they're not going to say anything about it. Or they would be saying, okay, you're improving your, like you say, getting into the 21st century, that I don't see where they would have a problem.
Yeah, it's not roads.
Well, everything's not roads.
That was why we got in the beginning, was to expedite traffic between the two counties to the Riverboat.
Yeah, in this past year, recall, they sent us an audit statement for the first time asking us how we spent their Riverboat funds. And it was the first year in many years where we needed to tap into that for other reasons. And so part of the concern was this is a voluntary relinquishment of a percentage of their casino profits, of the government's take of casino fees. And the argument, or I guess the proposal presented by Washington County was if not for the roads, the improvement of roads to, you know, facilitate the out-of-county visitors, you know, you wouldn't have the success that you have. And so the request was made premised on that. So, I mean, everybody, because you were here when that happened, the rest of us weren't. And so that's just something to be aware of. And they did actually ask us last year, how did you spend that money? And we did.
Yeah, they did.
But
The
this is
thing
not a large expense out of
The thing
that
I'm looking at
money.
is, that's what I was just getting ready to say, Tom. The thing I'm looking at is the expense versus what we have in the Riverboat is pretty minute as far as actual, you know, I think the total bill was like 17,000 something. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, we got the last meeting.
Yeah, it's 19.7.
If I remember right, Phil, did we have 538,000?
If we took it away right now, we appropriated 300,000 last meeting
Right.
for the highway.
Right.
Would believe it's, I think, around 220,
Do something, yeah.
Okay.
228 or 223, and you took out the 19, I
I
figured
think
20,
really,
I think.
John, I think really that would be the most feasible place to pull.
Well, the money's
Any
there
money from
definitely, but it's the intent. I've been to a lot of their meetings, and we have a good rapport with Harrison County, and I'd sure hate to see it deteriorate over on just one small one.
Since we appropriated an additional 300,000 over to the roads at the last meeting, I think the council had done that. We appropriated 300,000 to the roads. I don't think they would really squawk on 19,000 coming
One of
out.
the things you could do is one of you go down and contact one of their commissioners and something we're looking at doing, and just kind of keep up that rapport and communication and see what their response is. And the thing is, I think there's a concern about using taxpayer dollars. I remember once upon a time, there was a lot of public sentiment about a lot of anything that changes, including the airport. And ultimately, someone said, you know what, this is, regardless of what people may say, this is a good thing to do for the county. We're going to move forward with this expansion project. You know, and allowing our general population to view meetings, I mean, we've had Rhonda Green videotaping and posting online so people have access to meetings now for a few years. How long is she going to do that? What if she decides tomorrow she's going to stop, and all of a sudden, people don't have access to meetings anymore? It really is a service. And the equipping people with cell phones used to be a luxury, and then it's not anymore. Equipping people with laptops, with the information they need, and saving paper, this really isn't something that I think this is.
Well, with the tools of the computer itself, and we're in a computer age. You know, I've heard older people say, and some of it's getting harder for me all the time. You know that for a fact. But, I mean, I'm trying to comprehend. You take younger people, it's not. My sons, they could whiz right through it. But still, the paperwork that comes out of the state that's sent to us every day, and I'm talking about every day.
Every day.
And you look at all the books we have to carry. I got the budget, I've got the planning. You start on down the line. I got to load this thing up and unload it every day of which meeting I'm going to. And and I've been working with Dave Hoare and Ben Bullock, and these guys have spent a heck of a lot more time at it than, I mean, they got to deal with the numbers to keep us operating. But it's a great asset for us. And I know there's going to be opposition to it. But at the same time, if we film our own and Rhonda quits, or let's be honest, every time on yours channel, the first thing you start out, this is you, it's the Libertarian Party. I don't want none of that on there. It's not going to be Democrat Party, it's not going to be Republican Party, it's not going to be independent. It'll be right there to where the viewer wants to see it, they can voice their own opinion of what's actually being done. There's two sides to every story. And I'm saying, put it out there to present it to where the whole county can see it when they choose to do it. It's no longer one or the other. You make your mind up, you change them when they vote.
The Democrat and Republican parties are free to actually advertise also.
Sure, but they don't. And because they don't really have a setup going. And it's new. In probably 20 years they will. I'm saying at this point, we set it up. When a meeting starts, you turn it on. They can go to the computer. They can see what sets in this position of how they do. There won't be no advertising for either one. You're still, I mean, that's still free. But this, you take an actual view of what government's doing.
Are you going to open up a newspaper so that no one else advertises around, what Marcia writes?
Do I?
Are you going to start up a newspaper so that you can
No,
go ahead and
Rhonda,
have
we're not in the newspaper. Be honest with you, in all honesty, Marcia and I advertise in the Leader too.
Right.
But the paper's got thinner over the years. And today, in the technology world that we're all going to, I'm just saying, if it's there, and besides, it is going to be a tool. When we have meetings in here now, we've got to search and find it. We've got to find the screen to put up. We've got to string cords through. I'm saying wire it in to where we had the allow meeting and they come in and they set up the program, or whoever the next demonstration is, they can see, and we've all got a better view of how we're going to work with it. The main thing is our programs all coincide with the setup we're buying. You said something about the last meeting about a computer that lasted 3 years. I think this is 5. That's only a warranty on 3, isn't it?
Yeah, you can warranty them up to 3 years.
Well, I mean, I've got a laptop that's probably 8 years old, still going.
Yeah, and this is the top-of-the-line Dell laptop. So I've got a laptop, this model, that's 12 years old, that's still working. So it's as long as a laptop will last. Now, if someone's, jostling it a lot and using it a lot, it may last only a couple of years.
In the 2 years I've been here, the workings of the computer, and I've seen more and more laptops show up, or more and more iPads and laptops and notebooks and everything, but we're all scattered around. We're still trying to coincide with each other and work together. And if it's all set up and we all walk in and it opens up and we go to this and that, then we can refer to it right away. Where now you gotta hunt.
The information will be the same, it'll all be, you can say, look in your this folder and that folder, it's on page 27. You can all pull it up if you wanted it.
To implement, make a suggestion that we set up a meeting with Harrison County Commissioners, and I'll pay for the meal, and we'll meet at Ryan's or someplace, and just talk to them in general about what we're proposing and how they feel, and go from there.
If 2 or 3 of you go down and meet with them, that would be a public meeting.
We'll have to set up we can advertise, right?
You can post notice of a
Yeah,
special meeting
that's what I'm talking about.
at Ryan's.
That's where I set up the last one. I think, Dave, were you there? Ben Bowen was, I think. We had to do it for John Whistler, I think.
Just let me know when you do that, and I'll coordinate with
Yeah,
them.
okay.
You mentioned 3 things, and I put down the laptops, the bags as 1, projector and display information as 2. Is the third thing the cameras?
Yeah, the video recording.
Now, that price, though, that you just gave us, that was cameras within the government building.
Correct, that's
Only.
two cameras in
That
this room.
doesn't have anything to do with future cameras that we can add
Correct,
and
correct.
put in the courthouse, and it'll all tune through our
Yeah.
systems?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
so it's expandable, yeah, but
right,
we're only including
Right.
2 cameras now.
okay.
How would that work?
Just like plumbing, if you will, all the county offices are connected through some type of network, either fiber or wireless, so that video will be transmitted from the camera to the main recording system.
Well, the bottom line, the way I see this right now, Phil, we have two areas to get the money. We can go riverboat, or we can go in another area and get the money. But the system itself that we set up, only thing I see is really benefit is a complete transparency to all the county. I don't see any glitches within the system that it can't open up to all the people in the county. And apparently that's what we're after, is to make it as transparent as we can, so people know what goes on. They can actually sit at home and get on their computers and see what goes on in meetings, I take it.
Yep.
And it's not political. It's open session meetings for county council and the commissioners. And the website itself, I mean, you said you would set up is it a universal code that would go into the computer to where everybody gets on the same one and goes? Or?
It will be public, and it'll be like a list of meetings, and then you click on it, and that meeting will either be hosted, or that video will either be on our website or on, most commonly used is YouTube. YouTube will let it up there. You don't have to pay to store it. They'll store it and back it up.
Okay.
We can make, but yeah, anybody could go to the county website, and there'll be a link there that says video
So
meeting.
there'll be a key county website to where anybody can get onto it
Yep.
and take a look.
Yep, anybody,
And that's
yep,
everything.
anybody in the world.
Is that like tied into our website now?
It's not now, but it will be, yeah.
You need to go ahead and implement Connect the Community. If you're going to go ahead and mess with all the technology, do the free to cheap stuff now. Go ahead and connect all the boards so that everybody can see, have true transparency.
Right,
Have all the meetings, in real time be up on the calendar.
right.
Have the agenda right there. Now that's, he can set it up for free and I can teach him. We've had some trouble trying to get this through, but maybe you should go ahead and just implement this so that all the communities, boards
I commend you for what you've done.
And
And
that's
at the
fine.
same time, you both know more than I do on technology. But
Right.
it's time we all work together to better our county. That's what I want.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Peterborough Board is being heard on the open door laws. And, I understand that this is a gut reaction to this, to get equipment and all of that kind of stuff to go ahead and save face.
It is, it's an expense. You don't want to waste money. When we look on as tight a budgets, we work, but we still want to improve our county.
Of course.
And we,
Do the cheap stuff first. Do the cheap stuff first, and then go ahead and implement all the technology.
But when we leave and we go out, and I read about all the stuff, we're wasting money on toys, this is not what this is about.
Oh,
This is about bettering our county.
I understand.
And
I'm
that's all
all for
this is
this.
for.
I'm all for this, but you're getting the cart ahead of the horse.
Well, that's,
You've not been,
I don't want to get the cart ahead of the horse, but I feel like every time we try to do something to improve the county, we're drugged backwards. We need to all work together in this.
right.
And like I said, the camera system will show today the actual wording of it. When John Doe sees it out here tonight on it, he knows what was said. Not by the Libertarian, not by the Republic, I started saying Kentucky. No,
Party.
by the different parties.
That's a whole
But,
different party.
like what you said, I want to see every program in to where, when I retire out of this position, if I want to sit around and look at the computer, I know what my government's doing for my county. That's what we're after, all of us. Now, it's an expense, and I'm saying, and you said taxpayer money. I don't want to waste taxpayer money. So I thought, okay, if we go through the riverboat, that wouldn't be taxpayer money. Do I feel like it's a drain? Do I feel like Harrison County object to it? We're going to better our county to move forward, which we'll have more money into it to where we can do more blacktopping. But if we keep dragging ourselves backwards, we're not progressive. And that's what we have to do.
I think it's a good step forward. I think everybody's got good ideas. I think publishing the calendar and meetings and stuff, I think every little piece, but this is just another start or another step.
Do you want a motion to go ahead and
I would like
proceed
to have
with
a
this?
motion to go ahead and proceed with it, and
We can
I'll
I
make
decide,
guess
that motion.
you'll find me the money.
we can decide later how to actually meet with Harrison County, how we're going to fund it.
So I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Dave
second.
Brown made the motion, John second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
You realize you're going to spend a lot of hours with me.
Yeah, I didn't put a separate line item. I thought about putting a training line item. I'll take one for the
Just
team.
me? Just for me?
I will say though, I've watched Commissioner Marshall flip through his iPad here over the last few years, and it's kind of impressive at his ready access to all the things he has. I don't have an iPad, and to watch how he can quickly switch over to the calendar and bring up an email and has attachments, it's kind of,
Because I'm nervous.
but I mean, it's nice. And when I look at all of when there's a transition, thinking about if you have all of the, what I call educational information about what it means to be a commissioner, what it means to be a councilman, there's products out there and things that we can just easily hand over. And when we set this up on the hard drives, you can have the, folders with educational materials regarding open door law training, regarding commissioner's duties, regarding the budgets. You can have past budgets stored on there and all the links that are necessary. I think it's going to be a really good tool.
I do too. It'll be good for the county.
So how fast will it take us to get everything going?
I'd say a couple weeks. I mean, if you guys say I can order it, I'll order it today and get them going. Yeah. It sounded like it, but I didn't know if you wanted me to wait till the funds got straightened out.
Rhonda, I'd like to ask you, if you've got any suggestions, get them to me.
Well, I mean, just start up Connect the Community, like it was voted on in here 2 years ago. And go ahead and because that's the biggest transparency. You can have, what happens with the board meetings that aren't in here. The biggest way to transparency is for people just to know where the meetings are and what they're doing.
got that, and like you said, and that's one thing we do definitely need to get improved.
Right, and, and I know that there's been dragging feet on the backside, and I understand that, but it needs to happen, just, most people don't attend every meeting. I mean, and they don't want to.
No.
But if they know that it's up there, that gives you a step forward with, not just transparency, but integrity, being forthright with the community. I'm worried that this $20,000 is a gut reaction to having the PETA BOA board brought before the open door law counselor. And if you're doing that to try and, it's,
No, I'm not doing that.
okay,
This is for the betterment, and like I said, number one, the laptop is more communication between the council commissioners to know how to operate our government with finances. That seems to be our biggest problem. We have other things, and this is what I'm starting to run over, but at the same time, no, there's no personal thing here. It's, my only one goal is to make our county more unified together, working together.
right.
That's all we're shooting for. And better communication between numbers, papers, and letters.
Okay.
That's what we're after.
If Bill has any problem with getting the connected community up and going, just let me know.
Yeah, no.
I can go ahead and start calling you again like I was before, but
Yeah.
I mean,
You guys got each other's numbers?
Yeah, we could talk about it, and we've talked about it behind the scenes, different people in the county of how to manage that, but yeah, we can start talking again, see what we can do.
John, you have any more?
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ron.
You're welcome.